Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Durst, and welcome to our podcast. We're going to talk today about nitric oxide, and I have my co-guest with me.
Hey, guys. Verda Gombieski here, nurse practitioner at RevitalyzeMD.
All right. So today it is nitric oxide. This has always been a big topic with all men and anyone that works out and is in the fitness industry. Everyone knows about nitric oxide. But do we know the details, and do we really know how to increase it adequately as we age? And that's what we're going to learn today.
And do we really know all the things that it can help with? You know, we've got our gym guys that know it can help with blood flow to the muscles. And we have some guys, if they see us, they know it can help with erectile dysfunction because of blood flow to the penis. But it can also help with blood pressure. It can help with diabetes. It can help with the gut. It has all kinds of benefits. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's start with, what is nitric oxide?
Yeah, what is nitric oxide? So this is something that's naturally produced by the body or is taken in dietary forms such as nitrates that can then be converted in the body to nitric oxide.
Absolutely. There are also some aminos that can help with that conversion as well, such as L-arginine and
citrulline.
And citrulline, absolutely.
Yes.
And there is even a little bit about like pine bark extract helping with it, but that's not as common. There's not as much out there, I feel like.
I think a lot of
L-arginine and the citrulline.
A lot of the supplements that people will take, I want to say that men will take, because I hear a lot more of it in the gym with men than I do with women. But I also think a lot of those pair it with erectile strength too. But definitely there's a workout kind of belief that it helps.
Yes.
So, but usually they're doing L-arginine and L-citrulline supplements that will then increase their nitric oxide in the body. The issue is, as we age, your ability to turn those amino acids into nitric oxide is compromised.
It declines significantly, especially at the age of 40. You wouldn't think it's that early, but it really is. And it's a pretty significant decline that occurs.
Yeah, absolutely. And so those younger men that are taking it for the gym, that's fine because they're not experiencing the deficiencies in the body that somebody over the age of 40 is. But once you're over 40, then your ability to use the enzyme that converts those amino acids to nitric oxide is compromised. It's an uncoupling of that enzyme, and so a decrease in function of the enzyme, so you don't get the conversion from the amino acids or supplements to nitric oxide.
Yep, and as we age, there are more free radicals in the body, so those free radicals also cause decline and damage, as well as inactivity, poor food choices. We talk a lot about lifestyle changes, right? So as we're aging and we are sitting behind a desk and not getting up and not moving and doing what's easy and convenient versus taking foods that are nitrate heavy or good, our superfoods, or just eating healthier, right? Instead of convenient, we see a decline as well.
So basically, if you're looking at two lifestyle things such as nutrition and fitness, if you're not active in working out, then you're not going to get decrease even your free radicals in the body, which are going to uncouple that enzyme that converts it, but also just eating healthily in some of the things that increase nitrates in a diet are lettuce and spinach, beets, and celery is another big one. So all in the green family, and then there's beets. The issue is, does anyone really take in enough of those to really get you the nitrate, basis of the conversion? So not just the amino acids, but nitrates that you need for that conversion. And so that's where we will talk in a few minutes about a supplement that can help you. So it's actually like taking a lot of those nutrients in to help with the conversion. And that's necessary because you're basically changing the enzyme in the conversion and not just providing the precursor to it. You got the precursor, and now you have the enzyme that works to convert it. So
there's a supplement, like Dr. Durst was saying, that's a plant-based, but it's bioequivalent. So it works fantastic in bringing those nitric oxide levels up.
But what is nitric oxide? Like, what does it do? So we talked about a couple things it helps with, but again, it relaxes the blood vessel and increases blood flow. So if you think about it, increasing blood flow anywhere. So if it's relaxing the vessel wall, increasing your blood flow, it's important for vascular health, so cardiovascular, erections, muscles, and working out. And so that's what it's doing for you in the body.
It's vasodilating. It's those muscles are relaxing so you can get more blood flow in.
Yes.
So the more healthy blood flow in, that blood flow is traveling everywhere. Think of all the places your blood flows in your body, right? To your heart, to your brain, to your muscles, everywhere. So you're getting those benefits wherever we have our arteries that are in a healthier shape.
Yeah, and it's good for vascular health, so this is one of the reasons why people that read about nitric oxide want to do it. In fact, there was a Nobel Peace Prize on just nitric oxide in 1998?
98, all about its
benefits.
Signaling, that it's a signaling molecule for the cardiovascular system. So we know that with nitric oxide, right, those muscles relax in as well, so it helps with blood flow in, so you have less risk of buildup of plaques. And we also see blood pressures normalize. So improve blood pressure. There are supplements out there that are for blood pressure, that are promoted for blood pressure, that are beetroot and beetroot juice. The reason that is being promoted for blood pressure health is because of its nitrates. It increases the nitric oxide.
And so if we think after the age of 40, we have a decrease in nitric oxide production. And the reason is the enzyme's less effective, but it's because of what we talked about, less activity, you're not eating as healthily, but also just medical conditions and medications. So to basically increase your nitrate level, there is now a way and a good supplement, and actually it's gaining a lot of traction because there's a testing strip that comes with it. So basically you can test and see where your level of nitrates are, and then you can take the supplement and you can test again in a couple hours and see how much more elevated difference, because it gives you a testing range for it. And so that's called Berkeley Life. And it's just it's Berkeley Life.
Yep, it's
nitric oxide.
Yep, and there's Berkeley Life, and then there's Berkeley Life Professional. Of course, in our office, we carry Berkeley Life Professional, and all it is.
I always call it just Berkeley Life because it's the only Berkeley Life one that we do, but it's a nitric oxide supplement.
And it's just a nitric oxide. Yep, I'm sure they have other supplements. I would think we just use their nitric oxide.
That's the only one, and it has the test strips, and we have those in the office, so you can buy the packet, you can buy the nitric oxide, but. Supplement, but otherwise what you're doing is you're testing. You use 2 capsules and then you work out, but what it's doing is providing you all the nitrates that you would take in a diet that you're not normally taking in, so you have the precursors and the enzyme working to convert and get nitric oxide in the body.
And I believe per those 2 capsules it's like 5 ounces of spinach and 7 ounces of beets. So again, it is bioequivalent to what the body would need and use to convert. So it works extremely well. Now, can you go eat beets and can you go eat spinach? Yes. I eat beets like crazy, love them. Spinach almost daily in a salad. When I did my little test strip, I was blown away. And I take L-arginine. So I thought, I'm going to blow this thing out of the water. I did not. I was still reading pretty low on the scale, not bottomed out, but I was very surprised to see, even with eat healthy, I was taking L-arginine. I'm thinking I was doing all the right things, and how off that scale was, even for me, was surprising.
So I had a friend over, and I had my 18-year-old there. I both had them test, and both of them were very low. And my 18-year-old, so he should be making nitric oxide, but the problem is his diet is not great, right? And so sure enough, he took 2 capsules. He went and he worked out, and 2 hours later, he was high. And so it does work, but you actually have some objective measurements to see that. So you have a test strip. It goes right against the bottle. It'll go from light pink to very dark pink, and you can see those changes within a couple hours. So it really does. It's
pretty gratifying to see that come up and be like, yes, nailed it.
I think as soon as you can show someone, a low level and an increase, that's enough. Or actually, even if you can show them. So like you're taking L-arginine and you're doing all the right things.
Yes.
And you're still low.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I thought I was eating enough. Maybe I need to eat more spinach. And I like beets. I eat pickled beets, and I could eat them on anything.
Well, it's kind of like a vitamin D in the office. Like how many people, when we do vitamin D levels on people, and I swear 90% of the time.
Everyone's low. It's crazy.
But they also 90% of the time they're like, oh, I take vitamin D. It's fine.
I'm fine.
And I was like, No, it's low. Yeah. So you just don't convert like you think, despite the fact that you're taking it. So, but again, it helps with cardiovascular health, brain health, because of better blood flow, erections, muscle, working out.
Yeah. So performance,
breathing, everything. And so, but improving insulin sensitivity is something that you
there is some research through PubMed that came up, even the increasing insulin sensitivity. So there definitely needs to be more research on the side of diabetes and how much increasing those nitric oxide levels, or at least maintaining nitric oxide levels. But you got to think about it. Again, we kick right back to blood pressure, right? So cardiovascular health. So as our blood pressure goes up, and it can affect our kidneys, and it can, they all play in together.
Yes.
So it makes sense that if we keep our nitric oxide levels appropriate and keep those levels elevated, or even to optimize levels, that we would prevent some of those comorbidities from occurring that can lead to and contribute to diabetes.
Along with, again, active lifestyle, eating better. So it all but I think if you're alert to the nitric oxide and the positive benefits of it, you're already thinking along the lines of exercise and nutrition. So like you're doing the right things, and then all of a sudden you see a test strip that's low, that's problematic. That immediately speaks to the fact that you need to do something more. And then even if men are on, so if there's any erectile changes, again, loss of morning erections, nocturnal erections, strength, inconsistency, and or inability to perform at any point. The bottom line is that, a lot of men will go to, everyone knows about the blue pill.
Oh, yeah.
The little blue pill. But again, sometimes they don't work because they're dependent upon the enzyme working and not breaking down. So you have to, they're dependent upon nitric oxide being formed, and then it prevents the breakdown of nitric oxide.
Exactly.
But if you can't make the nitric oxide because you don't have the precursors, that's an issue. So a lot of people will see increased efficacy of the PD5 inhibitors with it.
Absolutely.
So they work when they didn't work, or they work better than they worked before.
So when we talk about erectile dysfunction, right? So nitric oxide, what does it do? It helps relax muscles. So when we're relaxing the muscles in the penis, we're allowing that blood flow to flow in. We're allowing those arterioles to vasodilate, right? So that blood flow is allowed to go in. If we don't have enough nitric oxide, how can that muscle ever relax to allow the proper blood flow?
Correct.
So it's definitely a functional part of getting an erection, where if we're not making nitric oxide, you're never going to get that full relaxation of that muscle for that blood flow. Yeah. So it definitely is needed for that blood flow to fill those chambers in the penis to get a full erection.
So you sometimes do not get effectiveness in those pills, but you will see it after this supplement. And also, in talking to compounding pharmacies and compounding pharmacists, again, they'll see increased levels in the compounded versions of Viagra and Cialis just with the use of the supplement, because now they're working.
Absolutely. And we did a podcast with one of the local compounding pharmacists that talks a lot about the supplement as well, in combination or in replacement of our Cialis and Viagras, or tadalafil, sildenafil, whatever you know it as, the little blue pill, or troches, the meltables. So definitely can be. I'll have some patients that have said they've actually been able to cut back on their Cialis medication when using the nitric oxide supplement. So whenever we can reduce a medication, a pharmacological medicine, right? Whenever we can cut that back, the better it is for everybody, right? Because all medications have some side effects. So if we can get the body to do what it is naturally intended to do to fix a problem, that's the best case for everybody.
And then we'll frequently use a lower dose, and sometimes in combination, because the lower dose can already be anti-inflammatory for the body. And so therefore, using that gets you less in the way of side effects. And a lot of men do experience side effects with the PD5 inhibitors, Cialis, Viagra.
Especially at higher doses.
Yeah, especially at the higher doses. So lower doses are good, anti-inflammatory, relaxes things, helps with blood pressure. But then if you add this, then you decrease the dose even further. And again, just allow better
blood flow.
Effective blood flow too. And it's just effective then, like those medications are effective. Yeah. And so again, this is a supplement. The Pro form of the supplement is only going to be available at doctor's offices or pharmacists or pharmacies, and usually compounding pharmacies. Your primary care doctor doesn't probably know much in the way of supplements for the most part. And so they probably aren't going to be a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. And I don't think your regular pharmacy, retail pharmacy will either. But the compounding pharmacies are great.
Absolutely.
And again, just consulting with patients as they're getting prescriptions filled and talking to them about the fact that this supplement exists and works and helps with their medications and making it more effective.
And there's a ton of research online on reputable sites. So if you're interested, you can always look online at some of those studies. The only thing we didn't talk about was side effects. So relatively safe. If you are taking high amounts of L-arginine and taking a nitric oxide supplement together, I believe it was something like over 10 grams, which is a lot of L-arginine. You can have some GI upset and things like that. And then beets can sometimes change the color of urine or stool slightly. Nothing alarming in relation to if you are eating beets or drinking beet juice. Now, if your stool turns red and you are not, that is a sign of concern.
That's an issue. And again, if you're on medications, there's always a concern, mainly from like a blood thinner. So if you're on an anticoagulant, then just taking a lot of greens sometimes can be an issue anyhow. It's a dietary thing more than anything, because otherwise it's really not going to interact with much or cause much in the way of side effects. It's safe. They definitely are a reputable company that has a scientific basis. And again, this is a supplement that is a nutraceutical essentially. And so it's safe and effective. So please check it out.
Yep. And I think you hit on it. They have a medical advisory board that is looking at the research, which is pretty cool for a company to have in the realm of supplements. It's sometimes hard to find reputable companies. And this is definitely one of them we've been impressed with.
Yeah, very impressed with. So we have the strips, we have the supplement, we have absolutely to be effective in our patients. And we're actually probably going to start even testing as like a fifth vital sign, because in the way I look at it is this is vascular health. And so testing that on men, especially probably to start with men, because they're more familiar with it because of the workout and the erection,
or just in our hypertensive patients.
Or anybody with hypertension, and just testing it so that we can see where they are. So then they're more, interested in, they're actually very intrigued by the fact that you can see a low level and then you can see a change in it. So we'll start implementing it in the vitals, just to assess.
I think it'll be fun for us, right, to see how it helps our patients that are hypertensive.
All right. So, but anyhow, if you want to hear anything more about this, then just leave us a comment and we'll get back to you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. All the things, share with friends.
Yep. Let us know your experience if you have taken nitric oxide and seen an improvement in any of the things we've discussed today, or maybe some of the things we haven't discussed.
Yes. Or if you've only used like the other nitric oxide. There is another one with a tester, but again, it doesn't have a nutraceutical that increases the enzyme conversion. So it'll be interesting to see what your experience was with that. And then some feedback if you try this product instead. But again, if you want to hear anything more, let us know, and we're willing to deep dive into anything wellness or sexual wellness, and we're here to revitalize your look, your health, and your sex life.